as we head into the season of thanks, I thought it was really good to bring up something that actually was recently brought up to me, which is boundaries or being nice. Are you doing it just because you're being nice? Or are you doing it because you lack boundaries? I think that is a really valid question. And understanding what the difference of these two things are, right? Like you can be nice and have boundaries, and you can have boundaries and still be nice. They're synonymous. The difference is your own thinking, your own brain, right? How are you cognizing this? How are you processing it? What are the thoughts? What are the feelings, right? So when you're thinking like of these certain things, so for example, someone had brought this, and this is why it's coming up. Someone had brought up like my whole super determination thing, right? And just doing all of the things, helping all of the people. But does it feel right? It might feel right, but it might cross a boundary. So it's not easy. So you got to ask, like, is this the right thing to do? Does it feel good? Is it easy? Right? Or does it feel more like, ooh, this is going to be a sacrifice? This is going to be difficult. What if it's heavy? Does it feel heavy? Right? The only difference in how this is really coming across for you is in how you're perceiving it, how you're feeling it. If you are feeling it in a way that is positive, that's great. It's not crossing boundaries. It's also like being kind and good. Hey, I help a lot of people. I don't often talk about that because it's their business, not mine. But at the same time, while I'm helping all of these people, I think like I never have these thoughts of like, what am I getting out of it? I always have this thought of, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Right? Is this for their higher good? Is there a lesson to be learned here? I had a situation last year where I kept getting all these messages to help this person. And then all of a sudden it stopped. And I was helping them. Don't get me wrong, I was helping them. And then all of a sudden it stopped. And I was like, and now we're done. And they were like, what? And I was like, yep, I did what I was supposed to do. Now you have to go do the things you were supposed to do. And it was rough. It was not an easy thing. It was a great lesson. And I approach things in that context a lot differently than I would have. And I look at it as like, that was a hard lesson to learn, but it was a great lesson to learn because that made me really sit and go, you don't have to always do everything because that's the expectation. You don't have to sacrifice everything to be kind, right? And so when you're going into this season, there's certain things we always do, right? Like Mike will always donate so much food. I'm like, wow, that was the most expensive grocery bill ever. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, and you came home with one bag. So now I know that's what he does. He's like, feed all other people, right? And I love that. And at the same time, like I have my things that I do. And he's like, wow, that was really expensive. I'm like, you see, there was a situation with their soul and we had to deal with it. And he's like, that was expensive, but I know that that's what you do. So I guess that's what we're doing. But at the same time, like it's not just material, right? What if it's your time? Time is actually your most precious commodity you have as a human being. Is it the time that you have that you should be spending where it's being spent? Maybe you have excess time, and that's a better way of giving for you, right? Instead of watching TV or scrolling. Just think about these types of things when you're looking at this coming into a season of thankfulness, gratitude, sharing abundance, kindness, the things we say to each other. Maybe all you need to be doing is saying thank you and acknowledging those people around you for being kind, right? That's good. That's really good. That's all you need to do. But if you feel called to do more about giving to others who have less or giving to those in need, and you're concerned about your boundaries, do they align with your core values? We talk about that. We talk about that in Unlocking Your True Potential. I wrote a whole chapter of it on the new book I've got coming out on burnout, right? Because with my super determination, I always keep everything in check. And that's something that people don't realize. There are times where people ask me for their help and I say no. because it does not align with my core values or whatever the situation is. Maybe it's the needs. Maybe they think they need me and I know that they don't, or that they can get that need filled some other way. So I just wanted to share that with you. I thought it would be handy. Check yourself. How does it feel? What are the thoughts that are popping up? Every decision we make, no matter what you think, it's an emotional decision. Doesn't matter if you're male or female, doesn't matter what country you're in, what stage of life you're in. It is all based on feelings because that's the human experience. The the heart tells the brain what to do, right? And where's the heart information come from? I'm going to let you discover that question on your own, but it comes from the higher source, the oneness, the everything, the great spirit, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. But that's the information being received in your heart. And your heart has more going on in it than your brain. And so your heart will trigger the information, release it into your brain, and your brain goes, oh, I need to do this in order to make that happen. Right. So think about how you're feeling about it and what thoughts are being generated from this, and then decide if it's the right thing. And there's no pressure in doing things immediately. Sleep on it. I'm a thinker. So I do not make rash decisions. They might seem rash to other people, but it is something that has been populating and percolating in my brain and my heart for a while before I take action. So people who are asking me to make a decision usually have to wait at least 24 to 48 hours before I make the decision because I need to process it. How am I feeling? What am I thinking? What does this look like if this? What does it look like if that? What are the potential outcomes? Right? And then I make the decision. So keep that in mind. No rush. Do what's right for you. Enjoy the season.